He didn't even look up when he dropped the $100 bill into my palm. As if I were a beggar he was tipping for wiping his shoes instead of the son who rebuilt his legacy. I remember the sound it made, paper against skin, soft and humiliating. My sister laughed. My father did too. I didn't. I just studied their faces as if I were memorizing a crime scene. Then I walked out. Not a word, not a threat, not a tremble, just a quiet exit, because I already knew what tomorrow would bring. People think betrayals explode. They don't. They rot. Slowly, silently. At first you smell nothing. Then the stench becomes undeniable. It started a month before that birthday. My father began locking doors he never used to close. My sister avoided eye contact in meetings. The board, my board, had sudden private sessions I was excluded from. But the real crack appeared one night when I walked past his study and heard my name spoken like a curse. He thinks he's the genius. Software was a fluke. Company belongs to blood, not brains. Blood, not brains. Yet I was the one who pulled us out of a fire he started. My father once told me I was his pride. A lie, apparently. Pride only exists until jealousy starves it. Still, I didn't confront him then, because the moment you expose betrayal is the moment you stop learning from it. So I watched, and listened, and collected. When he handed my sister the entire $400 million empire on her birthday, I felt nothing. Not anger, not heartbreak, just clarity. I realized he had been preparing this for months. Found legal loopholes, adjusted share structures, manufactured a narrative about me being unstable and overestimated. In his head, he was the strategist, the patriarch reclaiming control. But he forgot one detail. I owned the code. Every line, every function, every automation the company relied on. Because I built it, not for him, but for survival. He stole the kingdom, but left me the power grid. And I was done keeping the lights on. I didn't sabotage anything that night. I didn't break, delete, or corrupt. No, that would have been childish. I simply transferred. Quietly, smoothly, legally. The software, its licensing, its core engine, its cloud deployment keys, returned to its actual owner, me. The company had permission to use it only if I renewed their access each morning, and tomorrow I wouldn't. But that wasn't the plan. The plan was silence. Complete, unnerving, devastating silence. When they arrived at work the next morning, they found nothing broken, just nothing working. Bookings frozen, itineraries inaccessible, partner APIs dead. All terminals looping the same message, authentication required, contact owner. My sister panicked first. My father shouted orders, blaming the IT team, cursing, pacing. Then someone finally said it. Only he can fix this. The room went still. I imagine it felt like the moment a storm stops and the quiet becomes its own threat. Minutes later, security knocked on my apartment door, politely, urgently. I let them escort me back, slowly, deliberately, like a surgeon arriving late to a patient who chose the wrong doctor first. My father stood in the center of the conference room, eyes bloodshot, sweat on his collar. The $100 bill sat on the table as if he'd placed it there to remind me who I was. I slid it toward him with one finger. "I believe this is yours," I said. He swallowed, hard. "Fix it," he demanded. "No," I replied. My sister stepped forward, voice trembling. "You're ruining everything." "Everything?" I said. "You mean the company I built? The one gifted to you like a toy?" My father tried to regain dominance. "You're being emotional." I smiled. Finally, his favorite accusation. "No," I said quietly. "I'm being rational." I placed a folder on the table. Inside, the new licensing costs. 5 times their current annual revenue. Non-negotiable. Due immediately. My father's face drained. He understood. Revenge wasn't chaos. It was accounting. "You can't do this," my sister whispered. I already did. I watched them break, not loudly, but inwardly. A collapse of certainty. A realization that they never held the leash. They just held the illusion. That afternoon, I walked out of the building they no longer owned. A building that, by sunset, would be listed for liquidation. The board stepped in. They reinstated me, not out of loyalty, out of necessity. My father resigned. My sister left the country for a break. Neither has spoken to me since. People ask if I feel guilty. I don't. I feel balanced. He gave me $100. I gave him the truth. We were never a family. We were a ledger. And finally, the numbers make sense.